Liftoff.
Howdy folks, Jeff Mattas here. Welcome to Weekend Confirmed Question of the Week. This week's question comes from Doskar. He says, if you could make a dream game, where would it take place? Well, it's a pretty good question. As a editorial person, I always am thinking of, games that I'd like to see. So here's a chance to steal some of my ideas. Just kidding. So the first game, there's a few open world games. I'm a real big fan of open world games. I'd love to see, and Prey 2 may be doing this if it ever gets released or made or whatever. But an open world bounty hunter game, and wouldn't be bad if it was based on the Blade Runner IP either. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Big fan of the movie. It's something that's sort of been done before conceptually. I mean, games like Stranger's Wrath, the Oddworld game, you play a bounty hunter. It's usually a pretty cool trope to explore. So that's one. I'd also love to see an open world pirate game. So envision something that maybe Rockstar would create. So a big budget, sprawling world, open world, sword fighting mechanic, that sort of thing, but also the ability to get on a ship and do naval combat of some sort. I think would be really neat. And then sort of the last idea that I'll pitch to you is an RTS that's based on perception. So basically you have two sides that are warring against each other, and the mechanic is, instead of giving your individual troops orders, because they'll just naturally attack the other side, you can basically influence the perception of your opponent's army, basically. So, imagine being able to say, oh, up is now down, and so everyone on the opponent's army now is, gravity is reversed, or something crazy like that. It's sort of inspired, it's not a very well fleshed out concept, but it's sort of inspired by how media is able to influence people in, all sorts of arenas. These politics is probably the biggest one, where, sort of groupthink is a big part of that, when a message is conveyed and people sort of assimilate that without really doing their own research and exploring those ideas for themselves. So anyway, those are sort of my 3 game idea pitches. Hope that answers your question. That was fun to answer. Thanks.
It's coming out in September. Here it is in May. You don't have to wait 2 years for it. You don't have to wait a year for it. It's coming out in a few months.
I think what we've seen so far is that these
But at the time, it was an incredible thing. Here's this new engine. Here's all these new physics. Just doing things games have never done before. There's this gravity gun thing.
Especially something like
Unbelievable.